Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. So for today's video, we are going to be doing a no foundation makeup tutorial. In the summertime, I don't know about you guys, I'm sure a lot of you can probably relate, but I just don't like wearing foundation, especially when you're like walking around outside, it's like 90 degrees and your face is just dripping sweat. I really don't love the feeling of foundation on my face. So instead, I've been skipping on my base and I've been using a mixture of like cream products and concealers to get something that looks like this. So I'm still like covering up my imperfections, but I'm letting a lot of my natural skin show through. And I have packed this video full of tips and tricks. And I also just want to mention that this video is in collab with YSL, which is so awesome. I mentioned just a few of their Touche collab products, especially their Glow Shots, which is the liquid highlighter that I have on my face right now. Definitely let me know some of your favorite like no foundation products in the comments. Give this video a big thumbs up. And of course, subscribe and hit that bell button if you have not done that already. So without further ado, let's get into it. So since we aren't actually wearing foundation on our face for this look, it is really important to pay a lot of attention to the products that you put on before you start putting on like your concealer, your bronzer, your blush, and all that other stuff, because that is really what's going to almost like hold on to the other products, because foundation not only covers your skin, but it also almost acts as like a sticky base, I guess you could say, for all of the other products that you put on top of it, and it sort of just allows them to adhere to the skin. So because we aren't wearing any foundation, all the primers and products that we're going to be putting on before basically all of the color products are really important. So first things first, I'm going to start off with my sunscreen. I can go on and on about the importance of sunscreen, but I'm not going to act like your mom right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply it. The one that I'm going to be wearing today is a new one that I just bought when I recently went to New York. I was so excited. I went to the Glossier showroom and I picked up the Invisible Shield Daily Sunscreen Plus. So this is what the sunscreen looks like. You can see it almost looks like a bit watery and gel-like, and what I really like about this product is that it doesn't feel heavy on the skin, because what I hate about sunscreen is first of all the scent, and I also hate the way it feels. This has absolutely no scent. It almost smells even a little bit lemony, and it feels so nice and lightweight on the skin. So I'm really happy that I picked this up, because I'm definitely going to be wearing it all summer. So you're going to notice that I'm using quite a lot of primers today, and I don't usually do this when I'm wearing foundation, but like I said, when I'm going foundationless, this is what I like to do. So now I'm going to go into my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. I do find that it helps the products really stick to my skin, and it also boosts the longevity of them. So I'm just going to spritz this all over my face. So because my skin is really dry, it doesn't really have much life to it on its own, and foundation typically is what gives my skin that extra bit of glow. So instead, I'm going to be taking a glowy primer. This one is the L'Oreal Paris Magic Lumi Light Infusing Primer. There are so many primers out there that have a really nice glow to them. This one is one of my favorites from the drugstore. And then just apply this really only on the high points of my face. So my cheekbone area, I'm just gonna pat that into my skin. Also above my brow, basically where I would apply my cheek highlighter. If you do have oily skin and you don't wanna give your skin an extra glow, then definitely feel free to skip this step. So the next step is to conceal. Now, even though I'm not wearing foundation, I still do want to cover some of my imperfections. So I am going to be applying concealer underneath my eyes and on the areas where my face gets a little bit more red. So as for the type of concealer that you're going to want to use, I would definitely recommend using more of a lightweight concealer, or nothing that's too heavy or full coverage. Because we aren't wearing any foundation on the face, if we were to apply like a really full coverage foundation underneath the eyes, for example, something like the Tarte Shape Tape, it's going to look a little bit strange, because you're gonna have like this really stark, very full coverage, just like patch right underneath the eyes, and then the rest of your face is gonna look really natural, and that would definitely make your makeup look a little bit unbalanced. So by using concealer that has lighter coverage and that is more on like the thinner consistency side, it's going to look way more natural on the skin. And then as far as the actual shade of the concealer, I would recommend not going too light and going a little bit closer to your skin tones. For today, I think I'm going to use the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Invisible Cover Concealer. So I'm first going to conceal a little bit underneath my eyes. So I'm just grabbing like a tiny little amount on the tip of my beauty blender, and I'm just going to start to dab it where I want it first. So now I'm going to take my beauty blender and just start to blend that out. Okay, so I made a little bit of a mistake, and I'm actually gonna wipe this off. I want you guys to be able to see how strange that actually looks underneath the eyes, because it is a little bit too light. It looks really obvious on the skin. So I'm actually going to take this off and apply another one of my concealers that I have over here that isn't quite as light, but I'm happy that I made the mistake so that you guys can see what not to do. I think instead I am going to use my Bare Minerals concealer because I think this is going to match me a little bit better. So let's try that again. I'm just going to put a little bit underneath my eyes. Now I am using a sponge on purpose because sponges do soak up a lot of excess product, and it's just going to help everything look nice and lightweight. And I'm also putting anything that's left over on the sponge onto my eyelid, and you can see that that totally makes the biggest difference in the world. It really brightens out my eye and makes it look a little bit more awake. Now you may notice that when I'm blending out my under eyes, I am sort of taking the concealer way past my under eye area, almost onto my cheek. And that is because I do want to make sure that the concealer is transitioning nicely into the rest of my skin. So now it's time to cover up some of the redness on my face. So I'm going to take the same concealer and I'm just going to dot it where I want it. So typically I like to dot a little concealer around my nose area. I also put some on my chin. You can see I have a few spots there. So I'm just going to just very lightly dab over them. So I do want to cover up some redness on my nose. And maybe just a little bit on my cheek area, just right here. And I think that's sort of it. So you can see I'm really concentrating most of this concealer in the center of my face. And then just gonna buff it out. So you can see everything looks a lot more even once we have that area concealed. It doesn't look so obvious anymore. I do find for me personally, my nose just gets so red, especially throughout the day. So that is like the one area of my face that I do make sure to cover the most out of all the other areas. So I do try and put a little bit more concealer than maybe you would want to, but that's just personal preferences. So that's what the concealer looks like once it's down. I do not have any product on my face in this whole area as well as on my forehead. I only really concentrated a little bit of product in the center of my face. Okay, so now I'm just going to grab a little bit of powder. This is my Rimmel Stay Matte powder. You don't even have to do this if you don't want to, but I do like to set only my under eye area because my under eyes do tend to crease quite a lot throughout the day, and I do want this makeup to last. So I'm just taking like the tiniest bit of translucent powder. I'm like barely even touching my skin right now, and I'm just going to set right underneath my eyes, but I'm going to avoid powder anywhere else. If you do have oily skin, you may want to just powder maybe just a little bit, like a very light dusting in the center of your face or wherever you get oily, but that is totally up to you. So for bronzer, blush, and highlighter, I do prefer to wear liquids and creams because I do find that they last a whole lot longer, especially when I'm not wearing foundation. Powder products, like I said at the beginning of the video, don't really have anything to stick to. It will apply to the skin, but I do find that there's like a bigger chance of the products looking a little bit patchy and just not lasting a very long time throughout the day. So instead, I do like to use cream products and liquid products just because I find that they blend seamlessly on the skin whether or not you're wearing foundation, and I do find that they do last nicely throughout the day, and if they do fade, they fade fairly evenly. So for my bronzer, I'm going to be using this stick from Milk Makeup. This is called the Matte Bronzer in the shade Baked. Take my beauty blender, the butt of it, and then just dab it into the stick. I actually do prefer to do this rather than drawing lines on my face and then blending them out later with the beauty blender, just because I find that has like a bigger potential of the bronzer looking patchy, whereas if I just put it directly on the sponge, I find it blends a whole lot easier. So once I have some product on there, I'll start to sort of build it up where I want it. So now I'm gonna take this blush oil from Milk. I wanna just show you guys how nicely it blends out. So you just apply a little bit of product onto your skin, and it may look a little bit scary, but once you blend it out, it actually blends out quite easily. And even though this is called a blush oil, I do find that it blends out with more of like a powdery finish, so it doesn't like slip and slide around on your face, and it doesn't transfer, which is really nice. And I just really love how also quick and easy this is to apply. So I'm just gonna smile, apply a little bit on like the side of my cheek. I'm just going to take my finger and start to tap and blend it out, and then you could always go in with your sponge and really like melt that into the skin. If you ever feel like you applied too much blush, or maybe it looks a little bit patchy, or maybe you brought it in too far, whatever it may be, I did just discover a new trick to actually fix that. So I'm going to be taking my YSL Touche Eclat Radiant Touch Pen, and this one is in the shade 2.5. What I like about this concealer is that it is really nice and lightweight, and it doesn't really have that much coverage, which is actually what we want. So I actually just like to put a little bit of the concealer where I feel like the blush went a little bit too far. So in this area right over here. And you can see I'm not even applying a lot at all. I'm applying very, very small amount. And then you just want to take your sponge and just blend. And this is just gonna help to tone it down. That is just a little side note, a little tip for you guys. So now it is time for the highlighter, and just like my blush and my bronzer, I do like to use liquid or cream highlighters. So today I'm going to be using the YSL Touche Éclat Glow Shot, and these are new liquid highlighters from YSL. I'm actually going to be mixing these two shades over here. The shade names are not on the bottles, but I will have them in the product shots. So the first one is more of like a champagne color, and then the second one is more of like a pinky shade. So this is what it looks like mixed together, and you can see it's like a really soft champagne shade with just like a hint of pink. And look how gorgeous and reflective that is. So I'm just gonna start to tap it right on the tops of my cheekbones first. What I really like about this product is that it is very natural looking. It will really just like melt into the skin and look like it's sort of a part of it and not just sitting on top of it, which are the types of highlighters that I definitely prefer. You guys know that. I love me a really nice natural looking highlighter. There isn't any visible shimmer or glitter in here whatsoever. It's really just glossy. So we're basically done. All we gotta do is just apply some setting spray. Now you could really use any setting spray of your choice. If you do find that you do get oily, I would definitely recommend more of like an oil control setting spray, but I mean, I can't get enough of the glow, so I'm going to take some of the Cover FX Illuminating Setting Spray. So I'm just gonna finish off this look with a little lip. This is my Nude Sticks Gel Color Lip and Cheek Balm in the shade Pulse. Super natural color. It's sort of like my lips, but better and a little bit glossy. So guys, that finishes off the whole entire look. Really love the look of natural skin coming through, and even if some imperfections may still be showing, I still think it looks really just nice and beautiful, and honestly like perfect for sweaty summertime weather. So that's it for today's tutorial. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. Do not forget to let me know all of your thoughts in the comments. Of course, give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.